Published, 1831 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 22nd of June 2018. Updated, 1831 Eastern Daylight Saving Time, the 22nd of June 2018. It is all very well Scotland flooding young players on this summer tour, but they will get much more out of the experience if they get used to winning, too. That is why Scotland legend Gavin Hastings believes Saturday night's match against Argentina in Resistencia is a must-win for the relatively young team that includes his son Adam at fly half. Scotland need to win this one, said Hastings, whose son is part of a 23-man squad of which 12 players have 10 caps or less. It will be a crushing disappointment if they were not to beat Argentina. Gregor Townsend has selected a youthful side for Scotland's clash with Argentina. Notwithstanding a few young guys having been blooded, you still want to be winning games with them. They will want to go home knowing how it feels to win at international level against such a top side. You certainly don't want to be returning home after winning just one game against Canada on the tour and losing the other two. I don't think Gregor would be pleased with that at all. Fair play to Gregor, he has given a lot of the young guys like Adam an opportunity. Some will step up to the plate. Others will not make it. It is up to them, every one of them, to keep improving as a rugby player. If they don't, they won't play again for Scotland. They were selected on the basis of their potential on this tour. Potential can either be realized or unfulfilled. I hope all of them go on and learn from their experience and go on to become really strong rugby players. As a parent, I would like to think my son has the capacity to go on and do that. Time will tell. Whatever happens, it is really important that this relatively young and inexperienced team beat Argentina. It is very important they go home with 2 wins out of 3. Adam Hastings is set to win his 3rd cap after playing against the USA in Houston. Hastings watched on television at home in Edinburgh as his 21-year-old son came off the bench to earn a 1st cap in the 48-10 win over Canada in Edmonton 2 weeks ago. The moment he found out Adam would start against the USA, he flew out to Houston in Texas to share his special moment. For all his rugby experience, the former Scotland captain still sat there nervously like any parent would watching their son run out to represent his country in the late evening. Texas son, you aren't talking to every parent, I assume, so I will probably be speaking on behalf of all of them when I say it is a very proud moment in all of our lives when our sons win their 1st caps for Scotland, said Hastings, who also captained the British and Irish Lions on their tour of New Zealand in 1993. It is something you hope will happen, but you never really know if it will or not. When it does, it is a momentous occasion for all. I was nervous for Adam and saw him briefly for half an hour a couple of days before the USA game. I texted him a few times and told him to go out, as I always do, and enjoy himself, to relish the experience. It is not for me to tell him how to play. I don't know the game plan. It would be wrong for me to muddle his head with anything. He came off the bench against Canada before starting in the 30-29 defeat by the USA. A comment here and there is much more valuable to Adam, rather than me telling him what I think he should be doing when he is playing for Scotland. That would just be wrong. Also, Adam is different from me. He is placid and more laid back than me and doesn't put as much pressure on himself as possibly I did. That was just the way I was. It probably came from captaining every side I played for. That was the sort of pressure I put myself under. So how did Hastings SNR think Adam and his teammates played in the shock defeat by the USA last weekend? From my point of view, there was a world of difference between watching Adam's debut at 2 o'clock in the morning on TV against Canada after my night out earlier watching the Rolling Stones at Murrayfield, compared to being there in the flesh in America, said the man who played 61 times for Scotland and 6 times for the Lions. I watched the game more closely in Houston as I had a nice seat close to the action. I could concentrate on watching the game. The way Adam and the team was playing, I felt Adam's kicking out of hand was below standard, but his passing was very good and his defense has never really been in question. He played okay and the same could apply to any of the other new players. I don't think anybody was truly outstanding. There were a few good performances. Overall, it was a disappointing performance, as Gregor said, from the Scotland team as a whole, such as the inexperience in the Scotland touring squad. Hastings believes it is not a foregone conclusion they will bounce back against Argentina, although he clearly hopes they will. You cannot expect young guys, who have not had much game time with their pro clubs, to be absolutely performing to the peak of their powers, said the 56-year-old. Make no mistake, taking on Argentina is a step up from Canada and even America, who deserve to beat Scotland. It is going to be tough. His father Gavin has praised Townsend for picking youth but believes Scotland need to win. Although Adam Hastings was part of the side that lost 30-29 to the USA, he showed enough to Townsend to retain his place, which allows him to win his third cap against the Pumas. He is part of an inexperienced half-back partnership, with scrum half George Horne set to play for his country for only a second time. We knew we would have a choice to make on standoff as we don't have Finn Russell on tour, said Townsend. Adam grabbed his opportunity against Canada and did some really good things against America. Yes, there are going to be mistakes. Yes, there will be times when he can't influence the game, especially when we've given away a couple of penalties and are defending line-out drives in our own 22, like we did against the USA. But in general, I thought Adam looked good on his first start. He tackled well up against a very physical American midfield, got up very well and worked really hard. He took so many lessons out of that game in terms of, right, what could I have done better there? Decision-wise, communication-wise, we feel it's really important for his development, and our development as a team, to give him another chance in an even bigger game. Townsend hinted that, regardless of how well Hastings plays against Argentina, the only way he would continue to figure in his plans was if he played regularly for Glasgow Warriors next season. Rory, Jackson, Pete, Horne, and Adam are available 10s for Glasgow next season, so, from our perspective, the player who plays the most there is obviously likely to have impressed the coaches at training, grabbed their chance in games, and they'll have more opportunity of being available to us at 10, said the Scotland head coach. We know Pete is an excellent 12 and has played 10 very well for us. He's always going to be in the mix if he's fit, in terms of what he brings, his work rate, his experience, his multifaceted game, whether it's at 10 with his ability to run, pass and kick, or at center, with his ability to do that one pass out. It will be up to them in the future. We hope that with Adam and Rory, the experiences they've had on this tour will give them a boost going into next season and they can go out and grab the opportunity at club level. Gavin Hastings agrees with that assessment, saying, "It is important Adam plays regularly for Glasgow next season, because it makes it harder for Gregor to pick him if he doesn't. I am delighted for Adam to win his first caps, but he wants to build on that and next season is an important one for him at Glasgow." Gavin Hastings is a Land Rover ambassador. Land Rover has a heritage in rugby at all levels, from grassroots to elite. Follow at Land Rover Rugby.